And hi, I'm Coach Nikki Warren. I'm here in Lake Tahoe, and today we're talking about disconnecting to connect. So, friends with benefits, what does that mean? Like all the great things that really true relationships create in our lives. And then finding, because we're not going to, or most of us, I'm not going to say we're not, most of us are not going to completely ditch our smartphones and stop with all the social media. I hope not, because I love my time with you guys. But then how can we find the balance so we're connecting to great people, we're still finding that way to disconnect in a way that's going to affect us the most and the most positively in our life. So today we're going to talk about the power of friendships and connections. We're going to talk about tools to help detox. A lot of us have, me included, different digital addictions. And then finding the right people in your life and how to really connect with good humans and good coaches to help us achieve our goals and where we want to be. So the first thing is, and I know that we know this, is that friends are powerful in maintaining our health and happiness. And that it's important that we really know the power of actual like face-to-face connection. And it can be on a phone call, or it can be going to coffee, or it can be, there's a powerful connection in sending someone like a handwritten love note. So when we're thinking about the research that has been done, we're social beings, and that we thrive in groups and we thrive in friendships. Years and years ago, that we would die if we were socially isolated. We would not have the protection of many. We gathered food together and we created these societies. And as women, especially, because I am a woman, that when you think about the way we used to be, is we used to raise our kids together. We had extended family living with us. We had more connection with our neighbors. We cooked, we cleaned, we did everything together. And as society progresses and technology is on the rise, we're more connected to our scrolling to see what everybody else is doing than actually being connected to friends. And it's causing us depression, and it's causing more anxiety in our world. The suicide rate is increasing, and 1 out of 2 Americans feel lonely. So a big study out of Harvard University is 1 out of 2 Americans feel lonely, and a UK study found that 9 million people said that they're always lonely or most of the time lonely. So what an important thing for us to be talking about right now is being lonely and what that means and how we can just switch a few things. It doesn't have to be 100% off digital, and it doesn't have to be a huge amount of time that you're spending with other people. It can be a small amount of time, but it can, what I want to talk about today is it's the quality of time. It's the quality that we're spending with people. And today we are very distracted. We tend to pride ourselves on overworking. We pride ourselves on always being busy and multitasking. And so what that can do is cause us to not really feel connected to people. Even in our own home, we can be a mother of 3 and feel terribly lonely. We can have a big family and feel terribly lonely, or great friends, or a good network. And there's simple ways that we can create better bonds with human beings. So as a society, and especially right now, right? We're encouraged to isolate, and we're encouraged to have distance and not hug and all of these. Nancy, I see you on there. She's my hugger. We're encouraged to isolate. And if 1 in 2 of us are lonely, and the effects of loneliness are creating an increase in our stress hormones, which increases our white blood cells and wreaks havoc on our immune system, then when we do go out to like the grocery store and things like that, we're not able to fight these different diseases that are around. So it is important to prioritize your relationships and the power of friendship that we have with this state that we're in our society. So social isolation and feelings of loneliness increase our rates of depression, stroke, disease. They cause us not to sleep well. So when we're feeling lonely, there's a big study that shows that people who are lonely and depressed are actually fearful of falling asleep. So these are side effects that are really something that is scary and that we don't want in our lives. So on the flip side of it, on the bright side of things, another big Harvard University study followed 700 people throughout their lives and found that the better, and it's the quality, not necessarily the quantity of friendships and relationships that in this study that showed when these 700 people that were followed, when they hit their 50s, they were much more healthy. They lived longer, and then by the time they hit their 80s, their health was increased by 40% by these. And of course, there's a lot of other things with studies, right? So my sister Casey's on the call too, and she's a scientist. And so we have to take studies with a grain of salt, and we have to know, okay, there's these big studies. There's a lot of other things that are in factors that are included in like how they're eating and sleeping and all of these. But if you look at your social bonds with other people, you're going to live longer if you have stronger connections, and you're going to be happier, and then everything else is easier in your life because you have strong friendships. So watching the amount, and I want to talk about also the amount of time that we're spending in our digital world. So I looked at my phone. If you guys have your phone there, or just write in your journal, just take a look at your the screen time on your phone. So I have a lot. My phone I'm talking to myself here in this talk. So my screen time has an average of 5 hours and 39 minutes a day. So I want you to look at your screen time. And when we're looking at the digital statistics, it's quite scary to think about the increase in like to 2009 and 2017, the teen contemplation of suicide went up 25%, with the diagnosis of depression grew by 37%, and the attempts of girls from age 10 to 12 grew 268% from 2010 to 2017. And a lot of this, what they're saying, has to do with our addiction and the time that we're spending on our digital devices. So with that, anxiety is rising, addiction is rising, and we need to think about like how we can, you don't have to cut it completely out, but how we can just work more proactively through using our devices for good things, and then looking at your screen time and looking, if you have children, looking at their screen time and creating just like we do with like when we think about like planning out our day, is creating time for screen time and then creating time away from screen time. So before I jump into like digital detox and how to do it and what some of the tips that I use for me and my family, is I wanted to jump back into the friendship and why the good things that we create through positive friendships. And so when you're looking at your phone, for me, I wanted to like look at like, so my messages, my text messages are average 1 hour and 26 minutes a day I'm spending text messaging. But then when I look at my actual phone calls, I'm only spending 19 minutes a day on phone calls. So for me, my goal is to spend less time text messaging people and more time talking on the phone to people that are not in my world. So Steph and I were talking, my sister Steph's on the call too. I got my little sister crew here, but Steph and I were talking about why we feel that women have better social connections and have stronger tools to combat like depression and issues that we have going on. And a lot of times it's because women spend more time talking. So from when we're little, from hopefully to now, when we have a problem, we instantly look around to see if there's somebody that we can problem solve with. And I know for me, a lot of you guys listen to a lot of things that I have going on in my life. And what that does is when we're actually taking time to talk to one another, we're problem solving. So I'm saying, say I'm having a problem with my significant other. So if I'm having a problem in my relationship, I'll call at my friend or my family member and I'll say, okay, these are the things that are going on. I'm struggling with this and struggling with that. And we talk through things. And so the benefit to you, so if I'm talking to Emily and Emily is listening, she's learning from my problem. She's actively trying to help me problem solve. So then when she goes out and has a problem with her significant other, male or female or whoever that is that she's able to take the resources that she's learned from my problems and hopefully use those in a positive way to help her elevate the issues that she's having. So what I want to encourage us to do is not isolate, not look on Google for your problems and how to solve a problem, but reach out to friends. A lot of times as human beings, we don't want to bother other people and we don't want to burden them with negativity. But if you can think of it in a different way of we're problem solving together. So it's not spreading negativity. We're problem solving together. We're listening, we're learning, and then it's also a way that shows us how to be empathetic. Because when you listen to a friend talk about her or his problems, they usually don't have the same frame of mind that you do. It can be quite different, actually. And so when you look at somebody that has completely different point of view, but you're listening to them with empathy and compassion because they're coming to you to help solve a problem, then all of a sudden you look at other people maybe with this same frame of mind with more compassion and kindness. I hope that makes sense. So it's really important when we're creating friendships and we're creating connection that we're not afraid to reach out to people when we're having problems, and reach out in a way that I always think about, like when I reach out to somebody, um, before I say something, is it kind or is it helpful? So if I'm just complaining about the weather, if I'm just complaining about my significant other or my friends, or I'm complaining about COVID, that's not going to be helpful to somebody else, or it's not kind. And so if I really want to create better connections and powerful friendships, I have to think about, okay, I need help with this problem, and I'm going to reach out in a way that I'm going to ask for feedback, and then I'm going to be able to take feedback and then create or solve this problem that I have. So there's a fine line when we're talking about expressing ourselves to one another. So I would love for you guys to write that down if that resonates with you, is when you're talking about something to someone, is it kind or is it helpful? And then from there, you can move forward and say, my goal in this conversation is to help me get through this issue that I'm having, or to help my friend get through this issue that they're having, but not create more negativity in the world. Okay, so why we are made for connections and made for relationships is because we are a compassionate group of human beings, and we need friends. So the better friends that we have, it doesn't matter if we have lots of likes and lots of friends and lots of people who follow us on social media, that doesn't matter. But what does matter is that we have real connections with people, and that when we are moving through like the ups and downs of life, that we have people that we can reach out to, and that we're brave, and that we do reach out to people. So that's the friendship and connection. Now, the tools for detoxing social addictions, or so our phones, and even like the creators of Facebook and Google and the people who make the most money on all of this social, they're worried about the amount of time that we're spending on these social platforms. So when you're thinking about, like, let's think about our lives in like a group of three. So we have 8 hours to sleep, we have 8 hours to work, or if you're like a stay-at-home mom, that's work. That's like your whole life is work. But our 8 hours of work, and then 8 hours of free time. So what do you want to do with those sets of three? And why I think meditation is so incredibly important is because it teaches us to focus our thoughts and focus our mind, push away distractions, and be able to have the ability to be here in the present moment. So if you have 8 hours to sleep, and you're going to sleep and your mind is all over, and you are multitasking with not turning off digital and watching TV at night, then that's not going to be like good, solid sleep. So when you sleep and do everything you can to make that good for you. So turning off all digital, all social, and try to get all the blue light away at least a good hour before you go to bed. So then when you're at work, turn off all notifications. So don't let notifications distract you from your productivity of work. And if your work is your kids, if your work is giving back to the community, your service, if your work is writing a book, whatever that is take away the digital distractions as much as possible, and create in 8 hours, how much time are you spending on email? Create 20 minutes, get all your email done, turn it off, no more distractions. Now do your creativity work. So finding that space in your work, and then your free time. Do we really want, if we only have 8 hours a day, Do we really want to, I only have like 2 more minutes with you guys because I'm going to go work out at 8:32. Do you really want your 8 hours to be 1 hour a day on like social media? Do you want 1 hour a day to be spent on Facebook or all of these things? So you decided, maybe you do, or Netflix or movies, but are these really benefiting your sense of well-being and your happiness? And just write down, okay, like what are the 8 hours that I have gifted to me and what do I want to do with them? So be proactive. So I'm going to leave you guys with a couple detox ideas for digital. So first thing is remove all distractions. So I just talked about that. Go through your phone, turn off all notifications, get rid of all the apps that that are not, I don't even say that you're not, that you're not using, because I think you should get rid of all apps that don't make you happy. So less distractions on your phone. The next thing is don't glamorize being busy. So sometimes we're so uncomfortable just sitting in a line at the store that we have to get out our phone. So the second you get out your phone, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Am I uncomfortable with my own presence? Am I uncomfortable just being bored? Why am I getting out my phone? So don't glamorize like always having to be busy or looking like you're always distracted. So try to be bored. Sit in a line at a grocery store, have a conversation with somebody, like have a little bit more time of not being so busy. Ask yourself constantly, how can I create a no phone zone? So we talk a lot about digital detox, and that's like when the sun goes down, all the electronics go off. I'd say I'm 80% good at this. I need to be better, and I'm like actively working at this. So right now, my son doesn't have any electronics, and we're just taking a little teen digital detox for him. And it's been so great. He's like reading, he's playing, he's more interactive with our family. And I am only using my phone for work. And so, because your phone is a lot, right? You are, it's your little computer on your phone. So trying no phone zones in your home, I think is really great. And then just do regular digital detox. Be brave and put your phone in the drawer all day on a Saturday or all day on a Sunday. Do as much as you can to think about, is this, whatever I'm doing on my phone, creating more happiness in my life? Or is it making my chest feel heavy and I'm comparing myself to others and I'm not feeling happy? So just bringing more thought to it. And then when we are on digital and we are on social media, try to create more happy posts. And I hope I do that for you guys, because I would never want you to compare yourself to me, or me compare myself to you and feel negative about what we have. We want to create posts or conversation that talks about taking care of our bodies and being so happy that we're alive, encouraging others to like set happy goals, finding the joy in life, like creating more posts that make you feel happy. And when you're posting posts of you like working out, like hopefully you're doing that with an intention to inspire other people to work out and drink green smoothies and all of the things and create better relationships. So let's try to use our social media as a tool to make people happy. Let's ourselves try to look at the amount of time that we're spending on digital, us and our family and the people that we care about, and lessening the time that we're on digital and increasing the time that we have together as like hopefully person to person, but phone calls are great too, and just enjoying what we have. So thank you guys so much for being on. I love each and every one of you. Don't forget, you can work out with us. I'm gonna go work out with Coach Emily right now at 8:30, and you can do that Actually, in my Instagram, there's like Linktree, and you just go to, you can find any of your locations on our Kaya app, a location near you. You can do live Zoom classes. You can do hundreds of workouts on Get Kaya Fit. So I hope I get to work out with you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for being on. Love each and every one of you.